Hey guys, how's it going? We're back with another episode of Personality Pick, and this week's guest we have former UFC featherweight and current PFL weight Shane Burgos. Shane, thank you for taking the time out of your day to hop on and answer a couple questions, and I really appreciate it. How are you doing today?
Thanks for having me. I'm good. Just finished training this morning, another training session after, so back to 2 days, right back to work.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Getting ready for that next one, huh?
Yep.
That's great. That's great. Let's dive right into this. Shane, how has it been being in the PFL compared to the UFC?
Honestly, the similarities are there. It's been a pretty seamless transition. Treated me very well. UFC treated me very well too, but I feel like the PFL's treated me even better, to be honest, which is pretty surprising because like I said, the UFC treated me great. So going from the UFC to the PFL, it's honestly been I'd say an improvement on the way I'm treated. It's really easy to talk to them. Like I can have direct contact with the higher ups and everything, so that's been nice too. Yeah, it's been a great transition, honestly.
It's awesome. Has there been anything that you had to adjust to at all moving from the UFC to the PFL? Were there things that you kind of like had to get used to, or processes that were a little bit different?
Little things that aren't too crazy. Like I was there at fight week. It was an extra day, which I actually didn't know if I would like that or not, but it actually turned out to be great. It was actually a little bit longer, so I was able to focus a little bit more. So I did like that. A little bit less on the requirements on what we had to do on fight week, which was awesome too. That was so I can focus on the fight and the task at hand. And then the biggest one is probably the fact that all my UFC fights were at 145, and this fight was at 155. So that's probably the biggest difference, honestly.
Yeah, that seems like something that maybe you hinted at being brewing for quite some time, where moving from the 145 division to 155. Do you ever see yourself fighting at 145 again, or possibly going for both belts at PFL?
No, I can't do a whole season at 145. It just wouldn't be, like I said it a bunch of times. It would just be my performances would just go down the hill because making 145 and then going back to back to make 45 again and again and again 4 times in 8 months would be brutal on my body. It would just destroy me, honestly.
Absolutely, yeah. I know the turnaround time in PFL is it's quite grueling with the 8-month period fighting multiple times.
Yep.
Yeah, that could be very taxing on the body.
Yeah, that's mind as well too.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Because that grueling weight cut the last week is where it really is at, I feel. Where you're digging deep to cut those remain like 5, 6, 7, even 10 pounds of some people. It just depends.
Yeah, 5.
Um,
Most guys aren't cutting 5 pounds. I'll tell you that right now. 5 pounds would be a nice weight cut. Most guys are cutting well over 5 pounds.
uh-huh, uh-huh. How was it like for you when that last week? Was it like 10 to 12, I would assume?
It was in that range, but it was probably honestly one of the best fight weeks I've had. I got an Airbnb. I didn't stay at the fighter hotel, so I just got completely away. And I had my nutritionist. He stayed with me too, and he just had my food just on hand. That was awesome. So yeah, Eric Pena, he stayed out there with me. I cooked all my food and everything like that. It was the smoothest weight cut I have. Obviously, I'm moving up a weight class, so I didn't know how my body would react to it. Obviously, I'm a lot bigger than I was at 45 too. So it's been strength training since my last scheduled belt. But it was a good weight cut. It was a smooth weight cut, and I'm definitely happy to not be at 45 right now.
Absolutely. Now, Shane, fighting the PFL is a little different than the UFC with the and fight multiple times in 8 months that we touched on. How does it compare when you're thinking about those points?
Yeah, I didn't really think about it until I was in the position that I am now. Like now I'm thinking about it more so because obviously I have this next fight and I basically have to solidify my spot in the playoffs. I need not only a win, I need a big win, I need a finish. So like I said, the first fight I wasn't putting too much stock into it. Now I'm in this position where I'm like, you kind of have to put stock into it. Now that's really
Mhm.
like a focus. Like I'm gonna have to go into this fight looking for a finish, and a win would be great no matter what, obviously. But you want to get that finish. You want to make it to the playoffs so you can still be in the season or in the running for that $1 million.
Absolutely. And then, I mean, speaking about the last fight, were there any adjustments that you feel like you could have made, whether it's in fight or during the preparation, that would have changed like the outcome, or at least changed the course of the fight?
It was a very frustrating fight. Like to see, I spoke to you about it right after. Obviously, it was just very frustrating. Very
Mhm.
it didn't honestly like feel like a loss, but it definitely didn't feel like a win. It felt more like a draw. Like I feel like we never really got to get going until the last 30 seconds, and then the fight was over. And I was like, what the? Oh man, it was very a flat feeling. Obviously disappointed. My hand didn't get raised, and I ultimately it is a loss. He did win, but it doesn't. If it's a very very strange feeling. But to answer your question, yeah, there's definitely some things I can do different, and I'm already addressing those things, and I don't want to go too much into it because I do think we're gonna fight again, but I'm not gonna focus right now on that. But I'm just gonna focus on making those adjustments now.
Absolutely, you don't want to give away the keys.
Exactly.
Yeah, we did see. I remember like, you were more on the emotional side after the fight, and then talking to us, we all saw it in your eyes. Like that one hurt. It stung. So I already know the feeling coming back for the next one is going to be
Yeah,
insane.
yeah. Like I said, I got over it pretty quick because of the fact that I already have my next one booked. So that made it honestly a lot easier for me to just be like, all right, let it go. Don't sit here and dwell on it. Like literally just let it go. Cry about it tonight. Get over it by tomorrow because June 23rd is not that far away. So to have that next fight already set, basically, not the actual opponent, but the date, that made it a lot easier for me to just be like, all right, just let it go on to the next one. And you know what? We've seen it before. There's a lot of rematches that happen in the PFL, and I obviously would love a rematch down the line. So that'd be awesome.
Absolutely. I feel like we would love that rematch more than anything.
Yeah.
But touching on June 23rd in Atlanta, who would you like to fight? You did say that you have the dates already set. We already know that. Fight's not set with against who. Who would you ideally want to fight, or are there a couple of names being floated around?
Yeah, there's a couple names being floated around. Obviously, I don't want to give it too much away, but
Mhm.
I want to fight somebody that wants to come to fight, honestly. And there's guys that are in the division that are down for that. So yeah, next one's gonna be a banger. I know that for sure. Yeah, and like I said, I want. It was a very frustrating one in my last one. I just feel like he wasn't really trying to fight me. He was trying to win, and he made it more of a competition more so than a fight. And I can't knock him for it. Like you know what I mean? Like I literally can't. Like I kind of not that I get it, but I see why he did it. The path of least resistance. He was able to just hold on to me and run the clock out and rack up the points and get the win. But I didn't feel like it was a fight. They felt more like a competition. So the next one going forward, I want to fight. I want to fight someone. So yeah, I think we're gonna get a banger next.
Yeah, you want that barnyard banger, like the Jourdain fight. That was
Fights, man. Like I just want, yeah, I just want somebody that's gonna try to come at me with the same energy I'm coming at them with. I mean, try to take me out because that's what makes for a fun fight.
exactly. On a lighter note, Shane, how did your martial arts career really begin? Like, what was that one defining moment where you realized that, oh, okay, maybe I have potential to make a career out of this thing?
So I didn't realize that really until later. But I remember the first time I trained, it was a love at first step on the mat kind of moment. Like did my first grappling jiu-jitsu class, and I was like, whoa, this is a different kind of fun. I was like, I've done some other stuff that was fun, but this is like fun. I was like, wow, I love this. I only want to do this from now on. That's why I actually started out as a grappler. Most people don't know, and I fell in love with that. And then when did I think I could make it a career? I don't know. Honestly, I can't even answer that. I had my first fight in high school. My first amateur fight was in high school, and even then, I was like, this would be cool if I could make this into a career.
Mhm.
Racking up the wins, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm not really good at school. I was going to college at the time, and I was just like, after high school, and I was like, this is not really working out. So I'm just gonna back up. I was an instructor at one of the Tiger Home schools around here. I said maybe I'd be a full-time instructor if the fighting thing doesn't work out. And it's like, you know what? No, burn the boats. I love this. This is what I love to do. I like to teach, but I love to fight. And I'm pretty damn good at it. I had a 7-0 amateur record with 5 finishes. Then I went 7-0 pro before making my UFC debut with all finishes. And that's when I was like, yeah, the boats are burned, man. This is all my eggs in one basket. This is what I'm doing.
That's awesome. That's
So
awesome. What's one thing that you would tell young Shane?
I can't give you an exact date of when it was, but I just remember being like, oh, okay, no backup plans. No backup plans. All your eggs in one basket. Burn the boats. It's this or bust.
Wow. You know, it takes a lot. There's a lot of fighters that I speak to, and the burn your bridges with everything else and just focus this full time, not an answer. It's more like, okay, I was doing this as well as, okay, they're going to school for something, or they either had a job on the side, but doing all full time. That probably took a big leap. What did like your surrounding circle think of that?
No, everybody believed in me. My whole family, my team, everybody. My wife, my girlfriend at the time, she knew that it's what I wanted to do. I was an amateur. She believed in me, and yeah, I'm able to turn that broke kid that I was into a well-off kid. Like with being able to provide for my family, have my wife be a stay-at-home wife, like doing what I wanted to do, what I said I was going to do, what I love to do. There's a lot of pride I take in being able to give my family the life that I'm able to give them with my bare hands. Like my hands, my hard work, my tenacity, my mental toughness gave me, my wife, and my kids everything that we have. So I take a lot of pride in that. It's looking back, like I don't really think about it until I get asked that question. Then I look back and I'm like, that's pretty damn cool. That's pretty damn cool.
It is. It's not something a lot of people could say that they've done. It's
Yeah.
one of the hardest careers to get into, let alone.
100%, not just physically, but again, mentally. I remember when I was in high school and I was dabbling in the sport, I didn't have my fight yet. I remember hearing the guys in the UFC doing interviews like, this sport is 90% mental. And I was like, how the hell is this 90% mental? You're going to fight. Dude. What's mental about that? It's all physical. And then I start fighting. And I'm like, that's what they mean. Okay. And so it's one of those things, like a lot of people don't realize how mental this game is. It's insanely mental because you're not just going in there physically to fight somebody. Like, it's completely different than any other sport, especially like if you have a bad game in basketball, you play again in a couple days.
Uh-huh.
You have a fight, you don't play fighting. Like you have a bad fight, you're either getting hurt or and let's say you have a bad fight and you lose a decision. You don't know when you're gonna fight again. So it's not the same. It's a very one of a kind of sport. It's the oldest sport really that there is too. Like like fighting has been around since the dawn of man. So, but again, it's very unique in its own way.
Absolutely. What's one thing that you would tell young Shane 10 years ago?
Keep believing, keep going. Like 10 years ago, man, 10 years ago, I was 22. 10 years ago, I was just about to turn pro. I was 7-0. I would honestly tell them, keep going. The best is yet to come. Like everything you want is on the other side of those nerves. On the other side of like, you get those nerves when you're fighting. Everything you want is right there. It's coming. Just keep going.
That's awesome. And then last but not least, did you end up going to the Win Buffet after the fight?
Yep. No, actually, no. No, I didn't go to the Win Buffet because it was closing at 9. I went back to my Airbnb. I showered. By the time we got there, it would have been like 8:45. So I was like, now I need to scratch that one. So we ended up going to the Caesars, which is actually ranked higher, and it's even expensive. So I went to the Caesars buffet instead, and I got sick to my stomach. I ate way too much, but I was like, yeah, I have to. So that's like my advice. I'm like the biggest foodie, man. I love food. So after a fight, it's like go time, but I'm already back on my diet again. So it was short-lived.
You and me both. I thought the Caesar buffet was closed at like 10.
Yeah, it closed at
10. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't have made it. I really wanted to go. I haven't been to a Vegas buffet, so maybe next time.
Yeah. Yep.
Shane, anything else? Final words for the fans before you delve into this depth for the next fight? I know you're going to be coming out banging for this next one.
Yeah, the best is yet to come. Believe it, guys. I promise you, the best is yet to come.
Absolutely. Well, Shane, I look forward to seeing you in Atlanta, and thank you so much for taking the time, hopping on the show. Guys, if any questions for Shane, leave them in the DMs. I'll shoot them over to him, and maybe we can do this again after the next fight. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Shane, you've been an awesome sport, and I look forward to seeing you in Atlanta on June 23rd. I'm sure as the fans do too.
It's going to be a banger. I can't wait. Thank you guys for the support. Thank you guys for the love. Thank you for having me on, bro.
I appreciate it. See you, Shane. See you guys.